Dany Snow, the colored man accused with loitering and fifth-degree assault against a police officer, was on trial today. The charges were presented to the court, and the witness appeared to testify before Judge Leroy Davis, an advocate of stricter sentences and less parole. For more on the proceedings, we turn to Kim Burrows, who's been covering this from the beginning. Kim?
Thank you, Dan. The trial at the DeKalb Estate Courthouse began on October 15, 2007, and was conducted by Judge Leroy Davis. The defendant counsel was Manning Straub, also a colored man. The prosecuting deputy district attorney was G. Gordon Lawson, one of our finest young men. The defendant was found guilty on 2 counts of loitering and the most serious, assault with deadly intention. This is because, as testimony after testimony has revealed, their blood is almost always contaminated with the AIDS virus. The following are excerpts from the court proceedings.
The officers felt that the defendant is a potentially dangerous vagrant whose motives for present crime seem to be rage. All along, the defendant has refused to cooperate and divulge any explanation of his activities at the time of the offenses. We believe that he is a cold and calculating individual, not only unscrupulous, but vicious. He has feelings of persecution, for he thinks he is being singled out because of his race. The defendant vehemently maintains his innocence and consistently protests because of his race. There appears to be in the defendant a feeling of persecution and a distorted sense of values which give rise to the conclusion that he is a severely disturbed individual who has become a serious menace to the community, which now must be protected from his predatory behavior. He has made little effort to be employed or to accept any social responsibility. Since he has not profited by experience nor shown any change in his antisocial conduct, it becomes necessary that more stringent measures be applied. It is therefore respectfully recommended that he be placed in a maximum correctional facility for 5 years without any chance of pardon nor parole.
The defendant, after hearing this testimony, sat in his chair emotionless. This is Kim Burrows for Channel 4 News at 7. Back to you in the newsroom.
Defense motions in the Dany Snow trial began today. His defense lawyer, Manning Straub, released a statement this afternoon detailing his arguments that his client was falsely arrested and therefore should not have to suffer any other charges from that altercation. Prosecuting witnesses have testified that the accused was a violent man, but his attorney defended his actions. For more on this, we turn to Kim Burrows at the county jail.
Thank you, Dan. In an exclusive videotape statement released earlier, defense attorney Manning Straub told us his arguments for the release and absolution of his client.
Now, the traditional rule was that the crime of resisting arrest included the assumption that the arrest was a legal one. So it was not a crime to resist an illegal arrest. Therefore, people could resist arrest made without authority to do so, such as arrest made under an invalid statute or without a warrant or a probable cause. May I quote, "When a person being without fault is in a place where he has a right to be, is violently assaulted, he may without retreating repel by force, and if in the reasonable exercise of his right of self-defense his assailant is killed, he is justified." Now that is Runyon versus State. An illegal arrest is an assault and battery. The person so attempted to be restrained of his liberty has the same right to use force in defending himself as he would by repelling any other assault and battery. State versus Robinson. These principles apply as well to an officer attempting to make an arrest who abuses his authority and transcends the bounds thereof by the use of unnecessary force and violence, as they do to a private individual who unlawfully uses such force and violence. Jones versus State. where the officer is killed in the course of the disorder which naturally accompanies an attempted arrest that is resisted, the law looks with very different eyes upon the transaction. When the officer had the right to make an arrest from what it does if the officer had no right. What may be murder in the first case may be nothing more than manslaughter in the other, or facts might just show that no offense had been committed. John Bad Elk versus the United States. My client should have never been arrested in the first place.
Many in his community also sees this as an act of harassment. The laws, however, are made for public and private safety. We should all be thankful for our outstanding police force and the methods they use to keep the calm. From the county jail, this is Kim Burrows for Channel 4 News at 7.
The conviction and sentencing of Dany Snow has stirred up sentiments in the colored community today. Reaction was typically strong concerning the conviction. Colored people have been unjustly fearful of police brutality, but with the rise of crime, the police force has been given further powers to quiet any infringements and violations. Over the past years, the colored community and their leaders have asked for changes that will include them in any conversations concerning their welfare and well-being. We take a closer look at the community and the trivial complaints they have. We go now to Kim Burrows, who's been covering this story. Kim?
Thank you, Dan. This is a quiet community that adheres to the curfew laws it has accepted. For the most part, it is a law-abiding community with very respectable workers. Over the past 20 years, however, strife has been fueled by outside agitators that have moved back to live with their families. Most of them are from the integrated North and have been educated in a liberal environment. However, we here in DeKalb Estates long ago have founded new regulations concerning our colored population and how to make the best of them and keep those people from becoming criminals. Inner strife have left some people here divided, but for the most part, however, it's just another spark in a wet wood pile.
Now, why in the hell? I mean, like, now this is more or less a black neighborhood, right? Why we gotta have so many white cops standing around? As if we got to have somebody white standing over us. I mean, you know, I'm not prejudiced or anything. I'm not. But you go into a black neighborhood, you don't see a bunch of, you go into a white neighborhood, I mean to say, you don't see a bunch of black cops standing over a bunch of white people, standing guard over them. You don't see that. You ain't gonna see that, and I know it. Now, last night, for example, this cop stopped these fellas on North Hill Street, right? And because one fellow spoke so nicely for his rights and his protection, this cop gonna say, all right, now all y'all get off the streets or go inside. Now, most of these houses don't have air conditioning in them up here, and it's very hot right now. It's hot as hell. Then we go inside, we go upstairs, we gonna suffocate. So we sit out on the curb or on the sidewalk until the wee hours of the morning because it's too hot to go up. Now he telling us to get off the street. Now where we supposed to go? Man, I tell you. Okay, so then he pulls out his nightstick and tells this fella, I'm gonna beat you upside the head. Well, the other fella said, well, I'll move, but you ain't gotta talk to me like a dog. I tell you what we should do. Everybody should get together. All of us should get together. And the next time one of them pulls out one of them sticks to beat us in the head, we take the stick from him and we beat him upside the head. That's right. And we kill him if necessary. That's right. Kill him if necessary. I said it. Because the only way to deal with this man is the way he's been dealing with us. Even my wife got robbed the other night. She come upstairs crying to me. They tried to steal her pocketbook. What could I do? Where the police then? Where the protection then? It was nowhere to be found. Nowhere. Never there when you need them.
Most of the accusations have been proven unfounded and only grounded in superstition. The colored population has far to go to understand the privileges that they have and that their lives are much better with our laws. Things won't get much better as long as they break the laws. That is the central point to our legal system here. Reporting from North Hill Street, this is Kim Burrows for Channel 4 News at 7. Back to you, Dan.